This is the Sixth Man Show, an Orlando Magic podcast, with your hosts, Luke Sylvia and Jonathan Osborne, covering all things Magic basketball. By fans, for fans. Go Magic. What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? You guys are back with the Sixth Man Show today/tonight. Well, right now it's May 16th. When you guys, it might be May 16th when you guys see this. We're going to get this up as soon as possible. It may be May 17th. I am here, as always, joined by my co-host, Luke Sylvia. Luke, what's going on?
Well, tonight's a little different. We're joined by some of our friends. Make some noise, guys. I'm back here. It feels a little bit like college game day without the signs and without 1,000 people, but We're close.
There were a lot of people here earlier. So first of all, we are recording this live from the Draft Lottery Watch Party down here at Wall Street Plaza. We were joined by the Orlando Magic. The whole thing was sponsored by Michelob Ultra. We had to be 400-plus people here, I think, at the peak of the lottery. So we're going to break down really all things lottery, talk about just kind of how the lottery shook out, where the Magic ended up. Spoiler, we did not get the number one overall pick, Luke, but it went chalk for us, 6 and 11.
Yeah, it gets to that point where everything is going as planned. And the only thing I'm thinking, first of all, if we're not here at 6, I'm probably passing out. You're dragging me out of here and onto the stage, and hopefully I wake up in time to record a podcast. So us to be there at 6 probably did my heart physically good. But emotionally would have loved to get that pick at top 4. But is what it is, man. We kept what we wanted. What'd we say the whole time? As long as we keep the Bulls and we keep ours. Truthfully, I didn't care if it was going to be 10 and 14. But to go chalk and go 6 and 11, there was a less % chance that we end up with the 6th pick than the first pick. 8-something% chance to get the 6th pick.
So our lovely listeners that are here, you might have already seen this on social media, and if you're watching this later, you may already know this. But the Magic had the first 3 numbers that they needed. They just needed the 4th number, and they would have been number 1. They had 3 out of the 4 numbers they needed for the combination to win the rights to draft Victor Wembanyama, ultimately going to the San Antonio Spurs. I was on the drive over here earlier, and I was talking to Carmen. If it's not the Magic, send him to the West.
Yeah.
And I was talking about I was thinking about the teams that right now wouldn't be quite as stacked if he went to that team. Mm-hmm. If he goes to Houston, they've got Jalen Green, they've got Alperen Şengün, they've got Jabari Smith Jr. San Antonio's got Keldon Johnson, and now they're going to have Victor Wembanyama. So he's pretty much the number 1 piece. They're really starting their rebuild and building around Victor Wembanyama. Had he gone to Charlotte, and we would have had to see him 4 times a year. If he went to Washington, or God forbid, if he would have went number 1 to the Bulls, and we would have lost the pick and Victor would have went there, it would have been much more of a disastrous evening. But again, the Magic ended up 6 and 11. I'm just going to go through. 14 was Toronto. 14 was New Orleans, then Toronto, OKC, Chicago, Dallas, Utah, Washington, Indianapolis, or Indiana, I should say. They play in Indianapolis, but. It was all chalk, and I'm sitting there, and I'm going, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God. And then we're there at 6 because if you're not there at 6, you're in the top 4. And then Charlotte, had tied for top odds with Houston and San Antonio, and they got dropped all the way down to 5. And then Houston, you got to feel for Houston a little bit. They're in the lottery again. They've got top 3 odds.
Nope.
And they get hosed.
That's what they get, man.
Yeah.
That's what they get. They got enough problems to figure out in Houston. I don't know that Wemby solves all of them, and I fear that they mess up Wemby if that goes the case. The other top storyline to me, probably Scoot Henderson, LaMelo Ball playing side by side.
Yeah, that is something we got to worry about.
It's very odd.
A few times a year.
But we have to, play those guys. But as long as it wasn't Wembanyama in the East, I think we were all right.
And then Portland at 3, so you've got to worry. Wonder what's going to happen there with Dame. Is Dame going to be good with drafting Brandon Miller or Scoot if Brandon Miller goes number 2?
Yeah. You wonder, because this is something that I brought up on the last show, which was Dame had said, I don't want to build through the draft. If the front office thinks that the answer is a young player, that's not the answer for me, is essentially what he said. So you got to think.
Dame, can I interest you in Gary Harris, 6 and 11?
Right. Sold.
For 3. I would do that. Kevin, would you do that? Kevin would do that. Would you do that?
I'm down.
Would y'all do that? 6, 11, and who did I say? Gary Harris?
Yeah.
Not for Dame. No, for 3. No, you
Yeah.
wouldn't do that? We'll think about it.
I would do it.
I think I would do it.
You got to
for
think
Brandon
of this.
Miller.
Why else?
Are we going to use both picks?
No.
Is Gary Harris going to be here past the trade deadline of next year? If not, that's a deal that's a call the Magic need to make and at least have the conversation.
Yeah,
I think.
that's the thing.
San Antonio, what do you want for 1? You can't
While we're
have,
here,
you
while
can't
we
have
have you on
Paolo,
the phone.
you can't have Franz.
They've hung up a long time
Outside
ago.
of that,
they didn't hear a word we just said.
Yeah.
Can
I interest you in Bol? He's the same as Victor Wembanyama, essentially.
They're basically the same.
Basically the same.
Yeah, for a discount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're giving you a deal.
We're giving you such a deal. It's a steal. Listen, man, it all goes back to, do you think that the Magic keep both picks? I just don't know. If you are willing to find a suitor that someone is willing to do a trade, I think you do it. I don't want to bring in 2 young guys. If you do, maybe you're looking at a guy that was in college, spent some time there, and isn't just fresh 18, 19-year-old to develop 2 more guys on top of the team that you're already developing as a whole. I just don't know. And if the Blazers are willing to listen, you get them more, maybe more maybe not raw pieces, right, for Dame to play alongside, somebody that can contribute right away. I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to want.
Yeah, they're not going to want draft picks.
No, they're
Dame's
not.
not going to be like, let's.
We would have to compile something that would probably hurt us.
It's probably not going to
emotionally.
Happen. What about the frickin' Spurs, man? David Robinson, Tim Duncan. You're good for 19 straight years they made the playoffs. Yeah. You're bad for 10 minutes, and now you get frickin' Victor Wembanyama. Are you kidding me?
But if there's a team that's going to do it out of those final ones, I didn't want him in Charlotte. Didn't want him with Houston. Detroit.
I think it is a good fit. He's the Western Conference, so in the future, in the playoffs,
they don't have an alpha.
We're not going to see him potentially until the finals.
That's exactly right. Send them west, and they did.
All right, let's talk about these scenarios now with the Magic. The 6th pick, the 11th pick. You and I, the last few days in preparation for this, have started to watch draft prospect film. Your favorite thing in the world.
I hate it.
I was up until 2 a.m. last night doing it.
Couldn't be me.
I enjoy it. I like seeing what my opinion, like our guy Keandre over at Hoop Intellect at YouTube, who we're going to have on the podcast. I guess this is a little bit of a spoiler, but Monday he's going to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
Keandre. So we're going to talk to him about the good thing about this draft is, to me, the top 5 is chalk. Victor, Brandon Miller, or Scoot. I think it's 2. I think Scoot is number 2. Brandon Miller's number 3. But then it's either Amen and Osar Thompson, the Thompson twins. That's the consensus top 5. And then it's us. And if you're asking me, although I do think the Thompson twins have the potential to be fantastic players, at this point where the Magic are we still drafting best player available? Or now, in what my opinion is, should you be drafting to optimize Paolo and Franz moving forward?
Yeah, it's tough. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it comes down to, what does the front office think? Do they value someone, maybe a la Franz Wagner at 8, right? That they are so set on that they think that he could be something that they say, if you're at this spot, we're taking you. We're taking you, and we're going to be happy that you're there. We know they were happy that he was there. Do they have value in any of these guys that are in that 6 to 11 range? I don't know. But I think we hopefully can find out something. Maybe they won't be as secretive this time around as they were with that number 1 pick. Maybe we can get some little nuggets here and there about all of that. And we'll obviously get combine stuff, who's rising to the top, that sort of thing. It'll be interesting to see kind of what shakes out there. Do you have a guy outside of that 5 that you're like, if they're there, I need them?
I mean, the cool thing about this, and again, with my opinion, the top 5 going chalk, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 or 8 guys in that 6 to 11 range that I would be comfortable with. Right now, if I was the guy turning in the ticket on draft night, I love Cam Whitmore out of Villanova. 6'7" wing, 230 pounds, 6'11" wingspan, 40-inch vertical. Great athlete, great frame, capable driver. I think he has some upside as a perimeter, a creator, shooter, effective cutter. Kid plays with a high motor. He's a capable defender. He's got solid anticipation, potential as a weak side rim protector. Absolute dog. That matters. Kid is an absolute dog competitor. Can definitely improve decision making, but we talked about that with Paolo Banchero at Duke.
Right.
Could improve his decision making. That's being a rookie. That's kind of part of it. And his ceiling to me, I have him as like a fringe all-star, high-level role player. At the very least, he's going to be a really good rotational player in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I did some here, I don't know that I can even really speak to a prospect at 11 very much, unless you're going to tell me that Grady Dick is tumbling out of the top 10. But what I can say is, as far as things that I wrote down, I'm not going to ever act like, I know anything about a lot of these guys besides what I hear, right? Besides what I watch.
You're a listener.
I'm not out here watching full games. Unless it's Wemby, then I'm watching full games.
You know how I did this? I watched Keandre's video. I listened to his commentary, but I watched the film and drew my own conclusion.
Right.
It's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
You get all the film you need in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, and a lot of the things about Cam Whitmore, I don't know if I watched Keandre's on it. Somebody else maybe? I'm not sure. But because I knew you'd be watching Keandre, so I wanted to see maybe there's some differences. Cam Whitmore, I think that he obviously needs to improve on his threes, right? But great defender. Probably won't be a primary or secondary defender, or ball handler, I should say. I want to offer up another player that is somewhat in the same realm, and that is Jarris Walker. When you look at Jarris Walker, basically what people are saying, great help defender and on ball. One of the best defenders in the class is what they see for him. Won't have an issue getting him touches to help offense have a flow. He's
got shades of Wendell.
Not a primary go-to, but he is dependable. And if you look at him, as far as his frame, for those that don't know, he is 6'8", 240.
7'2" wingspan.
Big boy.
Good defender, fluid for his size. He's
Sounds
a good
like
athlete.
a Wellham prospect to me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he's got upside as a shooter, potential as a creator, especially like in the high and mid post, a la Wendell Carter Jr. Put him in the pick and roll.
Yeah.
Give him the ball at the elbow. He can dish and find cutters. Definitely needs to improve his physicality, though. Like, given his frame, he should play with a lot more energy and a lot more physicality that he does. In terms of ceiling, I actually have him like 10th on my big board. I don't want to brag. I have a big board here.
You got a big board.
I have a big board.
Gavoni.
This isn't my magic board. This is like my just big board in general. But I think he's going to be a solid starter in the league. I just feel 6'8", 240. We talked so much about shooting. Like we need to go and get a shooter. The reason Cam Whitmore may not be there as a shooter just yet, but what do you need in the playoffs all the time? You need more wing creators.
Yeah.
2019 against the Toronto Raptors. What did we see? We saw Fred VanVleet, Norm Powell, Pascal Siakam, Kyle Lowry, Kawhi Leonard, all these guys that were able to make plays for themselves.
Yeah.
And where did the Magic kind of stall out? Well, let's run another high pick and roll with Evan Fournier and Nikola Vucevic or DJ Augustine. So the more wing creators that you have, especially when it comes playoff time, just gives you so much versatility.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, based on kind of what you've seen and on your big board, if I'm telling you you've got a chance, let's say we take Cam Whitmore out of the equation. You've got Taylor Hendricks, Anthony Black, Grady Dick, Jarris Walker. Which of those guys, if not Cam Whitmore, are you wanting to get 6?
I think next I would go Taylor Hendricks, the UCF prospect. Wouldn't have to move very far for him.
Yeah.
6'9", 210 pounds, 7'3" wingspan, phenomenal athlete, day one 3-and-D guy, great shot blocker, versatile, can guard 3 through 5. He's great in catch and shoot situations, has some potential even as a movement shooter. He's a lob threat. Doesn't project as really a creator or playmaker, but again, I think this is a guy that can be a high-level starter ceiling. Day one, he takes up Mo Wagner's minutes, and he's your backup 5.
4.5 threes a game, 39.4%.
Shooter.
The one thing to take away from the top 10, 11 slot, and really the lottery, a lot of big boys.
Yeah.
Pause. But a lot of big boys, right? I mean, even the guys that are listed at guard, the Thompson twins. Both 6'7", right? Taylor Hendricks, 6'9". We've already talked about Jarris Walker and Cam Whitmore. Like, these are all just, you think a lot of them are already NBA ready as far as their body goes. And you hope that it translates and playing with the young talent, chemistry through the roof, you hope. That personality, you better bet your, I don't even know, what do you bet? But you better bet something that the front office is going to be taking a good hard look personality-wise. Where do these guys fit? Because you cannot mess up this chemistry. Another reason I think maybe you don't bring in two guys that are young guys. Are they going to mess up? One of them is bound, right, to maybe mess up some chemistry. But it's all infectious there as far as that goes in Orlando. And we'll see where it shakes out.
I think the front office is super intentional about how a guy is going to fit into the dynamics of the team before they bring them in. So that's not so much of a concern for me. You just may not want to bring in two rookies. You have a lot of young guys on this team. If the Magic feel like they can, make a move and improve, at a position and bring in a veteran presence, which the Magic definitely could use more of. But if not, if you're going to use both of these picks, like there's so many guys in this range that I'm good with them taking. Everybody knows about Grady Dick. Magic fans have been falling in love with Grady Dick. They love Dick for months now. You know what I mean? Hey, it's the truth. It's the truth. 6'8", 205 pounds, 7-foot wingspan, absolute shooter. I wrote that in all caps. Grady Dick is an absolute shooter.
Kid can shoot.
Off of catch and shoot, movement shooter. If you attack him off the dribble, he's got some potential there to attack hard closeouts. He's got some upside as a secondary playmaker. Great feel for the game. He is going to be limited as a primary creator. You're never going to give him the ball and say, hey, go ahead and get us a bucket. Inconsistent defender, but he's not been awful. But if everything goes right for Grady Dick, I think he can be a high-level starter in the league someday. And the Magic needs shooting. Like, we've been talking about this for literally years. The Magic needs shooting. I'm good with taking Grady at 6. I don't care.
Are you relieved that we aren't confined to looking at just 3 guys for the whole month and a half, whatever it is?
Yeah.
I'm relieved by that. Like, that is, I look at that and I'm like, we got a lot of people to look at. That's more, obviously, we do a podcast. That's more content that we're able to produce and get out there. But also, we don't have to talk about the same guys over and over. Anything that we do is like a guest appearance last year, it got pretty repetitive and stale. I am thankful. Don't get me wrong. I would have liked Victor Wembanyama, and they would have been real easy there. But I don't talk
talking about the same guy for like 6 weeks from now heading up to the draft.
Especially when we thought Jabari was the guy, where we really had to say 1,000 times, we're good with whoever we draft out of that 3, but we want Jabari, and we kept doing that, right? And that's like, it felt like week after week. So now we get a little bit of a break in that regard, and we get to talk about a lot of guys. We can actually have an episode, Jonathan, where we talk about 3 prospects. Then the next episode, we talk about 3 more.
Right.
We're not confined, and that does feel good.
I want to get your take on this. Like, so far, all we've really talked about are, like, wings and forwards, like Cam Whitmore, Grady Dick, Taylor Hendricks, Jarris Walker. What do you think of drafting a guard?
As far as a guard goes,
like in this range, the guys I'd be looking at is like Anthony Black, Cason Wallace out of Kentucky. Like, how many times do we have to see these guards come out of Kentucky and just absolutely ball?
Yeah.
Jamal Murray, John Wall, Devin Booker,
yep.
De'Aaron Fox. Like, again and again and again, we see these guys come out of Kentucky, and they're just fantastic. So it's like, is Cason Wallace going to be another one of those guys? To me, the guys in this range, Cason Wallace, Anthony Black, in the film that I've seen is like kind of like Josh Giddey light, 6'7" guard, 198 pounds, 7-foot wingspan, high-level playmaker, like flashes of being a really special passer, potential as a driver, sneaky athlete, like when he's going straight line, absolute dog, good anticipation, playmaker on defense, good on-ball defense, needs to improve as a shooter.
Yeah. I don't know. As far as the guard-forward debate, we would definitely benefit more from a forward, in my opinion, especially with the amount of talent it seems that is at that position in this draft, specifically in the top 10 or 11. And then you're looking at the guard. I mean, obviously at 2, if you were to take Scoot, the writing might be on the wall for a Markelle Fultz in that situation. But now you dodge that bullet if you're a Magic fan and in love with Markelle Fultz, which we are.
I don't see any of the guards in this like 6 to 11 range being better than Markelle Fultz.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm good. Is that okay to say? Like, I'm good.
Would you be surprised?
Fultz? I would be shocked
if they were better than Markelle.
I would be shocked if either of those guys were better than Markelle.
Okay. Maybe, I don't know, just because of the. I mean, I don't know, man. I do love Markelle, and I would love to say that emphatically, but I don't know that I can. Obviously, I have not done my digging into the guard position really because, again, most of these guys are just huge forwards. that would bring a lot to this team. I'm pretty set on a forward right now. I would need to be convinced. Maybe Keandre can convince me on Monday's episode as far as who we're looking at and what guard could really get me excited, because you're going to have to, Markelle, Gary, who knows, Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony. You have so many options. So I don't know.
Yeah, I just like Anthony Black, like Case and Wallace. When I watch both of those guys, obviously Washington Markelle Fultz is different than the Markelle Fultz that we have now, but we've seen shades of that coming back, especially in the last few games of the season, attempting more pull-up jumpers. But I just don't see any guards in this range that are anywhere near the prospects that Markelle Fultz was coming out of Washington. Like, take the jump shot away. Mm-hmm. Maybe those guys may be like slightly better defenders, but Markelle Fultz is a very solid point of attack defender. I've never complained about, oh man, Markelle's getting cooked tonight.
Right.
Like we never say that, but a few guys that we haven't really had the conversation about, other forwards, Keontae George, Jet Howard, Bryce Sensabaugh, which I compare to Chuma Okeke. Bryce Sensabaugh, I apologize. That dude is not Chuma Okeke. That dude is an absolute bucket.
Okay.
So I haven't had, again, I was up till 2 a.m. last night going through a lot of the film on these guys. Those are going to be the next three guys that I jump into. So that's going to be like my 12, 13, 14 on my big board here. I feel like it's most likely going to be one of those guys unless the Magic just stumble across gold again like a Franz Wagner and pick a guy that nobody really sees coming for the Magic.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing else there for me to add. I gotta get back to the film and see what it's looking like. I'll be more informed after Monday's episode with Keandre from Hoop Intellect on YouTube. And I'll do some of my own research in the meantime. Now, I just feel like, I wanted to wait and see where are the Magic going to be. I was tired of hypotheticals, and I didn't want to research guys and put, hour plus into researching guys that aren't even going to come across the radar. Those top three guys, mainly. So,
are you glad that we're not going to do Tankathon again? Like, hopefully for not, like, a long, long time.
Yeah, I hope. So we don't have to worry about the Bulls pick anymore. We got that. Obviously, if it wouldn't have conveyed this year, it would have been top three protected next year. So in that regard, we would have been doing a little bit more Tankathon probably. Who knows what the Bulls do now? They have their hands tied. They're in a very bad situation. Maybe one of the worst situations. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens, man. But, man, I'm glad to be done with Tankathon.
You think the Bulls would trade Zach LaVine for 11?
No.
Probably not.
I think Zach LaVine's the guy.
You guys want your pick back? Hit us up.
How bad do you want it?
We'll work something out. Well, I want to give a quick shout-out to the folks that help financially support every single one of our episodes and literally help make this entire event happen, our patrons. If you haven't heard already, we do have a Patreon community that you can join for as little as $2 a month. You can find us at patreon.com/The6Man Show. We have a couple of new patrons. Julio, he went the whole annual at the rookie tier, so a big shout out to Julio. And then we have a new patron, Fritz, with two Z's, 029, went the annual patron at the Hall of Fame level, so a big shout out. I don't have the list of all of our Hall of Fame and Elite tier patrons, but other than Fritz, it hasn't changed since the last episode. So maybe right here we can put in a clip of shout out the patrons from the last episode. The Court Cousins, shout out to our guy Peach, who is driving cross country right now. Maybe you're listening to this episode, and I hope it puts a smile on your face. Hope you are having a smooth ride, having a safe ride on your way to your new home in Dallas. Shout out to Drew Gooden, Armin, Carson Tulo, Normal, Magic Player History, Julio, Gabe Gaines, Wiffle, Michael Martin, Jamel Miller, Michael Salapon, The Distract, Donkey Punch Dave, Picture of Hotdog.com, Pierre A, Nostalgia and M&M's, Dylan Holden, Mr. Mikey, Eduardo Sanchez, Drum, Danimal, Dodo 15, Bobby Skinner, Goody 93, Teddy Sylvia, Eric Lopez, Fuchsia, Juan Gerardo, Bill Fulton, Edmund Lagone, Jose Esquilin, Destined for Greatness, Caleb Pete, Cannibalism, Time Mr. TV, Joe Rothfuss, ESPN Really Sucks, Gear 95, Shred, Junior Bruce, Half Freakin', Shahin 177, Bolby the Don, Himlo Ban Himro, Improv 221, who I just talked to the other day on Twitter. What's up, my guy? Ray Pastrana, Magic Kid 714, Let's Spank Don't Tank, Soft Taco, Jesse, Johnny B, Fuego Nando, Victor Cologne, Phantom Wolf 72, Irish Magic Mike, Austin Lampy, Random Hustle, Bull, his first name is his last name, Only Franz Maria, and again, Keith Wallace. A big shout out to all of our patrons. You can find us at patreon.com/the6man show.
Yeah. Speaking of our patrons, a lot of them came out tonight.
Big facts.
Met a lot of them, and it was a lot of fun. So appreciate you guys coming out if you are a patron of the show.
They're around here.
Otherwise,
our boy Armin is right there.
Armin.
He's in deep conversation. Our guy Armin, what's going on, buddy? Armin came down. Hannah came down. We got some of our patrons here. Really, really appreciate y'all. And appreciate everybody for coming out. Like, this event does not happen without everybody saying, hey, you know what? I will spend my Tuesday night with those guys from the 6-Man show. So tonight, we didn't get the number 1 overall pick, right? We had a 9% chance. We were hoping that Magic was going to be in the air. It was, but, then it wasn't. But we've been talking about this for weeks, Luke, that we weren't going into this draft lottery with, oh, please, God, let us get number 1 pick so we can be relevant and have a go-to guy. We have Paolo Banchero. We have Franz Wagner. We've been gushing about these guys forever and ever and ever now, all season long. The Magic are going to be just fine. Like, this draft is a huge success for the Magic, having 2 picks. You still have Paolo Banchero. You still have Franz Wagner. You still have Cole Anthony, Markelle Fultz, Wendell Carter Jr., Jalen Suggs, Gary Harris is still on this team. We're hoping Jonathan Isaac can get healthy. Like, you still have so much talent on this team. If our point guards aren't all injured at the same time last year for a number of months, the Magic don't start 5-20, and the Magic at the very least make the play-in game this year if you don't have that start.
Well, that's the other thing, right? The other thing we talked about, Jonathan, is you talk about the 5-20 start. We know the story. We know how the season ended. Without the 5-20 start, which that's not our true team at all, you don't get picks 5 and 11. Or you don't get picks 5. Sorry, or 6. Sorry,
yeah, we got 6.
You don't get the 6th pick.
It happened like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. I blacked out. You don't get the 6th pick. This team doesn't need the 6th pick.
Right.
We'll take it.
Our team would be fine if we didn't have any picks in this draft. Like, if we just ran it back, we're making the playoffs.
Yeah.
So 2 lottery picks, that's huge assets for the Magic to do with whatever they decide.
2 lottery picks. Cap space, assets. The world is your oyster, Weltham. Do what you want to. And I think that they're going to surprise a lot of people. I think this offseason is going to be a lot of fun. I love those guys.
I can make a joke about warmth, but I'm not going to do that again.
Feeling the warmth.
I'm not going to do that again. I think that's going to do it for us. So, again, a big shout-out to everybody that came out to the watch party. It was so much fun. Guessing, maybe, we don't know for sure, but hopefully the Magic do a draft party this year at Amway. If so, we'll be there. But a big shout-out, again, to the Orlando Magic and to Michelob Ultra for helping us put on this event. For Luke Sylvia, for producer Kevin, from all of us here down at Wall Street Plaza, you guys have been listening to The 6-Man Show, and we will catch you guys next time. See ya! Thanks for listening to The 6th Man Show. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and Spotify to get new episodes downloaded directly to your phone. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to give us a 5-star rating and a review. It helps out the show a lot. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at 6-Man Show. We'll catch you guys next time. Go Magic!